Our second speaker is Deanna Mackey, who will talk with us about critical thinking and problem solving. Deanna Martin Mackey is president of the Public Television Major Market Group, a consortium of the 40 largest PBS member stations in the United States. Mackey focuses her time on project and communications management on behalf of the stations and national leadership activities. Previously, Mackey worked for 25 years at KPBS San Diego, serving as the Chief Operational Officer in her final 6 years at the station. Mackey is credited with spearheading kpbs.org as a third content platform and creating KPBS's Converged Newsroom. In 2015, Mackey co-founded Public Media Women in Leadership to provide mentorship and training and address issues of gender inequality in public media. Mackey serves as a Girl Scout troop leader for 20 high school girls and spent 10 years in board governance for Girl Scouts San Diego. In 2014, Mackey was named Outstanding Alumna from SDSU's Daily Aztec newspaper. She earned her BA from SDSU with a double major in journalism and political science. Mackey lives in La Jolla and recently wed her sweetheart of 8 years, Christopher Ingalls. She is the proud mother of 3 children in 3 different life stages: 23-year-old Maddie, 18-year-old Robert, and 14-year-old Christine. There is never a dull moment. Please welcome Deanna to the stage.
Thank you very much for having me, and I want to thank the AMP for this opportunity. I also want to thank my friends and family who joined me, and Atziri, my current mentee. So today I'm going to talk to you about problem solving and critical thinking, and I'm going to do that through the lens of my career at KPBS and a time when I faced a problem and had to decide if I was going to step up and solve it. In the late 1990s, I moved into the executive ranks at KPBS, and at the time I was the youngest person by over a decade. I was one of 2 women and the only one still having children. I'd had the first of my 3 children. And even though that was the situation I was in, I felt fairly welcome because KPBS was a place that had a lot of diversity. It had women in leadership, it had people of color in leadership. What I found out fairly quickly when I moved into the executive ranks, though, is that we were an anomaly. I started attending events and meetings and conferences on behalf of the current GM at the time, and I found not only was I the youngest by more than a decade, I was almost always the only woman, and as a Latina, always the only person of color. So it was a pretty lonely place. However, I wasn't compelled to do anything about it initially. When you move into leadership young, you're still kind of learning your place. You're figuring out how to navigate these meetings and these different events you go to, how to be heard. And the situation I was in is because I was very young and I was an only and I looked different. I had to figure out how to be heard, how to articulate myself so that I would be paid attention to and my ideas would be considered. And also in our industry, public media is unique in that it's not a network. Each station is owned privately, and we have national partners in PBS, NPR, CPB, but these sort of issues were usually handled at the national level. So as literally about 20 years passed, I kept going to these meetings, and I kept realizing that there weren't enough women in the room, and there weren't enough people of color in the room at these leadership meetings, but who was going to solve the problem? Who had the passion to take care of the problem? So what happened is eventually we reached a tipping point, and I'm sure some of you are aware of Malcolm Gladwell's book of the same name, and the tipping point in my industry was twofold. It was qualitative and quantitative. So on the qualitative side, what happened initially was about 8 years ago, the system started having a lot of different sessions, conference sessions, and inviting women to be on the panels to talk about their leadership experience. And I was often on those panels. And afterward, we would be rushed, the stage would be rushed with women saying, when's the next one? When can we get more professional development? How can we learn more? And I'm like, I don't know, I'm just a panelist. But this was happening over a course of a couple of years. On the quantitative side, about 5-6 years ago, our industry started providing diversity data. And that data showed that of the 170 plus television stations in the country and 300 plus public radio stations, only about 25% of the leadership were women. And for people of color, the numbers were much, much less, as well as for the people who are making the decisions about content. Very few women, very few people of color. So the tipping point came, and I had a decision to make. I had a problem to solve, and I had quantitative data to help me with critical thinking. And I started thinking to myself, could I do this? Could I start an organization that would help women find their path in my industry? I started speaking to women who are leaders in our industry, in public media, and many of them loved the idea, but they didn't want to help. They felt like they needed to see what happened, or they were too busy at the time. So I recruited friends, most of them in middle management across the country. We started a committee, and in January of 2015, we founded Public Media Women in Leadership. And the purpose of the group has been threefold. First, to create mentorship opportunities for women. Second, to create a community, and a lot of our community is on Facebook, but we also do sessions and socials at conferences. And third, to create awareness. This was an issue that everybody could see and everybody talked about at the water cooler, at the bar at the conferences, behind the scenes, but they weren't talking about it publicly, that as an organization that supports the country with public service media, we weren't making sure that our executive ranks were full of the diversity of our country. One of the things I learned over time is that you have to be flexible in what your vision is. I was very focused on improving the numbers. However, what I learned, and I learned this through the data, because we did a lot of surveying, is the women wanted community. This was an industry that was more than 60 years old. They had never had a place where they could share, and they could talk to each other, and they could learn from each other. So what they wanted was a safe place to do that first before Deanna got her numbers. Here are some ways that we do that. In our Facebook group, there's a lot of community and conversation that happens. Up at the far right, we have job postings, and one of the best things about starting this organization has been that about once every 3 or 4 months, I get a call from a recruiter looking for women. So now they have a place to go, and the recruiters call me and say, who do you know who could be the head of content at this station? Who do you know who could be a general manager? So now women are being recognized and considered. In the bottom right, we talk about a situation where a station had an individual who wrote gentleman in the letter to the station. So there are women professionals that work at that station. So they share some of the experiences they're having and learn from each other from it. So back to the data part, the results count when you're problem solving and you're trying to make a difference. 4 years later, we have 2,000 members in our Facebook group, and last spring we received our first grant of $150,000, and that has allowed us to hire Veronica Varela Reyes, who's at our table today, who runs our program. It's also allowed us to use the platform that's actually used by SDSU as well for the mentor program to match people, and we have 100 matches as of this last December. So the takeaways about this, and I think this is really important, when you think about problem solving and critical thinking, we tend to focus on the analytical, but the truth is, you won't solve a problem unless you really care about it. So if you see a problem that you can solve, whether in your industry, in your career, in your student life, stand up and do it. You know, you don't wait, and I wish I hadn't waited 20 years. You have to be flexible because what you build they may not want initially, and using data can ensure your success. So I thank you for your time. That's how I can be reached, and this was a lot of fun. Thank you.